Hello, good morning. Welcome, everyone. This is Nemea Wantang with Family Travel Africa. And today, on Earth Day, I have a very special guest, my very own sister, Maatsi Ndingwan. She is sporting her Earth Day shirt, and we're going to have a little chat today because she has a lot to share with us. We'll make it short and sweet, but Maatsi is a physical scientist at the Department of Energy. She works on nuclear waste management, which is a mouthful, but we want to welcome her to our channel, and let's get to chatting about Earth Day. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. An honor. Always been a pleasure to participate. So I'm excited.
What's so crazy is just the realities of life. I imagine it's kind of cool where you are, and I see you're outside being one with nature as usual. I am being one with my reality here, having this little guy in my laps while we do this quick interview. But could you please tell us about your background? So how do you get to do what you do? What was the pathway to getting there, and what sparked your interest in the field of environmental science?
Well, thank you. That is a very, very long answer, but I'll try to make it brief. So, I mean, as you know, growing up, I always loved being outside. Funny story, I was always barefoot too. They could not get me to wear shoes.
This is true.
Just ran around, I frolicked around barefoot. I was, shorts, and I was always outside, running around doing nothing, picking branches, looking at birds and butterflies, watching the dogs. It was just so much fun to be outside. And so that sparked my desire to want to learn more about nature and the environment. And when it was time for college, I remember having a conversation with Dad about what I wanted to do. And, the traditional career paths were, doctor, lawyer, engineer. And I was like, nope, nope, nope. And he was like, what is it you really want to do? What do you enjoy doing? You want to do something that you have a passion for. And I said, I have a passion for nature. And he was like, okay, well, let's, it wasn't really Google at the time. I think it was AOL. He was like, well, let's search it. I think it was Yahoo too. So we went on Yahoo and we searched, career paths with nature, environment. And, lo and behold, there was actually a career path for people who loved environmental science. You could do physical science, which is chemistry and physics, or you could do biology and social sciences. So I ended up going to Clark University in Massachusetts, which has an awesome program. I mean, phenomenal. I'd go back any day. I love learning. It was fun. And I did a bachelor's in environmental science with a minor in biology. So I proceeded to do a master's in environmental science and policy. I finished that up, and I did a couple internships every summer. I worked one summer, I think after I graduated from undergrad, with Casey Trees in DC, where I was regreening the landscape in DC. Wow. So that kind of led me where I am now, working with the Department of Energy. And I do environmental management. So making sure that all our activities at work are in compliance with, environmental regulations, so we keep our environment safe and protect, the public and the community. So in a nutshell, that's how I got there. So
wow. Let's talk about some more practical things. Can you tell us, just from your standpoint, why is Earth Day so important? Why are we having this conversation on this day?
So Earth Day is, one of those days that we should actually remember every day. If your environment is sick, and I say sick as in, if it's polluted, if there's toxic waste in your, environment, even if it's not behind your fence or around your neighborhood, but it's in the air, it affects not only the crops and the plants and the animals and the biota, it affects us because, we're at the end of that chain. We eat those plants and those vegetables, we eat, wildlife. And so it's very important to live in a clean environment because ultimately, we're one with the environment. We interact with the environment and we depend on it for nourishment, for relaxation, and for good health.
No doubt. When it comes to the environment, in my field of medicine, they're just some very practical, examples, or real examples, I should say. For instance, there have been studies that, do support higher levels of pollution translate into more asthmatic attacks, particularly in your pediatric patients who may have lived in these areas for
Right.
a longer time. Also, I remember when we traveled to China about 7 years ago, Mark and I made a quick trip to China. Actually visited your brother-in-law in Shanghai, and the smog was unreal. Like we
Yeah.
could, as soon as you get in, it's quite noticeable. So I think there are some practical things. Even, we speak of Earth Day. I was thinking this morning about what we have gone through here in Panama City over the last almost 3 years since Hurricane Michael. Number of patients that would come in and say, since the hurricane, I'm having issues breathing. I think you have been exposed to mold, or, just different chemicals in the environment that, we otherwise would not have had in such quantities, prior to the hurricane. So definitely, for sure, I can appreciate that. Good air, clean water, and good food.
Exactly.
If we had these three things, I think we would have less doctor visits. What are the practical things we can do? If you could help list for us, those of us at home, especially with families.
Right. And so, okay, and that's a really good thing to bring up, because everyone can participate in Earth Day and in preserving our environment or protecting, our climate. So one of the things that I will start with is just, kids are very notorious for not turning off the lights. Turn off the lights. You walk out the room, just remember to flip the switch as you go out. Most homes are not equipped with sensors to detect when there's no activity or motion in the room. So just flip the switch when you're going out. If you don't need the lights, open the blind or open the window, get some fresh air in and get some light. The sun is still very good at giving us what we need. Cut down on idling time in the shower. That's one we struggle with at my house, because, everybody wants to wait for the water to be perfect. And so we let it run, and people stall in between showers, brushing teeth and all that. So cut down on running water. If you're not using it immediately, if you're brushing your teeth, and you can cut the water off and come back when it's time to shower or to wash the dishes. Don't let the water idle or run. Make a compost for your food waste. If you're into gardening like me, you can use everything, anything that you purchase, especially with plastics too. I actually have a couple plastics behind me, water bottles that we purchased water in. And when I'm done, I cut them up and I use them for seedlings so I could grow stuff in my garden. I could actually see if I could show them. Well, maybe technology. I don't have the skills to do that just yet, but I've got them behind me. And
Maybe
so
we
I
can
just,
take a sneak peek at the end of our
yeah,
chat here. You could
yeah.
reposition and show us what you got going.
Yeah. So and in that same vein, reduce plastics. We can't get rid of all plastics in the environment because it's convenient. Things are packaged in plastics. Things are transported in plastics. And so if you must use plastic, just reuse them and use them until they're damaged or can't be used again, so that we don't end up with unnecessary amounts of plastic in our landfill because they're not biodegradable. And that leads me to the next thing. You want to spend more of your resources on biodegradable products, because those are safe for you to throw in the landfills, because they will break down and help the soil, so as to say. Maybe everybody just has a water bottle. We have a ton of water bottles at home. And so, we try to limit, the amount of dishes that we have to run in the washer or to hand wash. If you have a thermostat at home that you can program, those are helpful. I mean, it has actually saved my energy bill a ton when we started a program when our heat and air would come on, and typically when we were not in the pandemic, it would come on, the heat would come on during the fall and winter at 5 in the morning. So when we wake up, it's warm and we can, get out the house. And then it cuts off at 7 when, the last person leaves the house. So it runs for 2 hours and then it doesn't run again for another 12 hours. And so you end up only spending, about 4 hours of energy because, 2 hours in the morning when you're home, 2 hours in the evening when you're home, and then it cuts off when you go to bed. So those are some practical things. And of course, if you have the resources to get a solar panel on your roof, that's great. Not only do you get tax incentives in most, areas, but it also helps you to limit the amount of energy that you're running at home. So those are
I have to say, I've all, you sometimes get the message about, reduce, reuse, recycle, and it's almost like, you start, judging yourself and you feel a little more conscious than usual. Like, man, I didn't do this and I didn't do that. A huge motivator for me has always been the cost savings.
Yes.
So I will admit, I'm not great at recycling at all. I do not have a green thumb at all, unfortunately. However, we will reuse, especially those shopping bags.
Yeah.
We have had the fortune and opportunity to invest in solar panels, and that has been a huge saving for the power bill. And I am always harping on the whole light issue, with turn off the lights. If we're not home, why are the lights on? If I'm coming home and I see the lights on in a room, what's that about? And we live in the Sunshine State. We get a lot of sun.
Oh, yeah.
You can see, we have natural light, just coming in. So it's really the little things. And I think if we just make it habit and make it practice, we end up doing a lot more than we think we're doing. And so
exactly.
Without being punitive, you kind of say, hey, those R's, remember your 3 R's. So yeah, thank you for those practical tips. I will ask, for especially our younger viewers, we do have some younger viewers on the channel. What take home message would you give? What can our younger folks remember for this Earth Day, and I guess until the next Earth Day?
Okay, so I should have started by telling you what the theme for this year's Earth Day was.
Yes, please.
The theme for 2021 is Restore Our Earth. And so this just falls in line with those 3 R's that you talked about: reduce, reuse, recycle. So I'm going to add the 4th R in. If you reduce, reuse, and recycle, you get to restore.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, so it falls in line perfectly.
Thankfully, the English language is just keeps going, right? We can re and come up with some really good tips.
Exactly.
So restore. So, okay.
If nobody wants to damage the earth, especially when we know that this is the only home that we have. So until then, we have to make it right. We have to change course. So get involved in any local groups that are in your communities. Where right here we have the Savannah River river keepers. They clean the river. People, things that get pulled with stormwater. When we have huge and heavy rain falls, and they get into the river, we have people who go and volunteer to clean that. We have people who volunteer, to do outreach, educate, create awareness. And there are a lot of organizations that are very active. So that is one really nice way for kids to remain involved, do the little things you can at home, but always, stay connected with a network that can keep you informed on the things that are going on and the ways that you can make changes.
Awesome. Well, it is clear that the planet is fragile. Life is fragile. Time is fickle. So is nature. And, for us here, less than 3 years ago, a lot of our trees were bare. We had nothing but stumps and broken branches. And we've actually just watched all of that come back. and it's coming back. And I think it's wonderful to witness. It is evidence of life.
That's right.
And so I just wanted to thank you for taking the time today. And I think your little nephew here would thank you too.
Thank you, Dave, for
You can see
participating.
someone is well past his nap time.
I know.
And
So
we're going to make sure we remember our 4 R's. Instead of our 3, we'll add restore to that. And happy Earth Day.
happy Earth
Got
Day.
to see your shirt. I think it says Earth. It's not.
It says Earth Day.
Day. There it
now,
is.
I did want to put in a plug for all those kids that are interested. You know, it's not just the sciences that you can get involved with it, with the environment. There are so many diverse career paths that you can take. You could be a scientist, you could be a researcher, you could be a hydrologist, a wildlife ranger, anything. There's a ton of things that you can do. So just remember that if this doesn't sound exotic to you, being, you know, environmental science and all that, just remember architects, urban landscape developers, they all work in the environment and we all work toward the same goal.
I'm always so impressed. And I think you took your passion and your desires and your talents, and you know, you've been going at it. You know, to think about 20 years ago you started at Clark, and 14 years ago with the Department of Energy, and I'm just watching and very, very excited for you, in awe of a lot that you've been putting forth. And I will say, last year, your site did a very nice video on Earth Day. So I'm not sure if it's still on the YouTube link, but we can certainly drop that link in there, and folks can see all, you know, the work that's going on, and all that, you know, you can get involved in. So thank you for your time, Auntie Maatsi. Maatsi Ndingwan, everyone. Physical scientist at the Savannah River Site. You want to say goodbye?
Bye-bye, Tay.
Bye.
Go outside and grab a leaf.
Have a great day.
You too. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Right. Bye-bye. So everyone, we are here. We're wrapping up. It is so nap time. And if you like the content, as usual, we always ask that you let us know in the comment section, and share it if it's something you think someone else would like to see, and give us your feedback. And for now, we're going to say goodbye. This is Say and Neme, Family Travel Africa. Thank you. Bye-bye.
I hope you like my video. Yes, you do. Subscribe. Share it, share it.